Welcome to I Tell Story Channel. Tonight, let's dive deep into a story that just might keep you awake until morning.
I never thought I'd share this story. 2 years ago, I walked away from that cursed place, vowing to bury the memories of stress, fear, and loss that still claw at my dreams. I wanted to leave behind the anxiety, the depression, the faces of friends I swore I'd stay close to, but couldn't bear to face after what happened. That final year at the boarding school broke something in us all. It's not just a story of academic pressure, it's a nightmare that festers in my mind, growing darker with time. This is my attempt to make sense of it, to purge it, though I'm not sure I ever will. For those who don't know, the International Baccalaureate, or IB, is a grueling diploma program for the last 2 years of high school. It's like the Cambridge A-levels or the final years of American high school, but with a brutal twist. You take 6 subjects, 3 at a higher level, like AP classes, and 3 at a standard level. Each is graded on a scale of 1 to 7, giving you a maximum of 42 points. Then there's TOK, a philosophy-like course, and the extended essay, a 4,000-word research paper on a topic of your choice. If you ace both, you get an extra 3 points, bringing the total possible score to 45. That number, 45, used to be just a goal. Now it's a haunting echo of everything I endured. I was 16 when I started the IB, a wide-eyed kid from a lower-middle-class family in Asia. My teachers saw my potential in me and pushed me to apply for a scholarship at a prestigious Chinese boarding school in a small Asian country I won't name. The admissions process was a gauntlet: 3 interviews, written tests in advanced math, and all 3 sciences. Somehow, I made it through and won a full scholarship covering tuition and boarding. My parents were overjoyed. It was their dream come true. I was thrilled too. Boarding a plane to a new country, a new life, surrounded by people who shared my drive and ambition. I didn't even glance back at my parents in the airport. I was ready to conquer the world. How wrong I was. The first few months were deceptively smooth. Stress is insidious. It doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps in, wrapping its tendrils around you while you're too busy to notice. I hadn't done my research on the IB. I didn't know the relentless demands it would place on me, or how unprepared I was to meet them. If I'd known, maybe I wouldn't wake up screaming now, 2 years later. By the middle of my first year, I was drowning. Coursework piled up, and I barely understood what was expected. I'm a humanities person at heart, but my scholarship required me to take 2 sciences at a higher level instead of the history or literature I loved. I had to design and conduct experiments for each science and write research papers based on them. On top of that, I had to maintain perfect grades. 7s in every subject, A's in TOK and the extended essay. The school expected nothing less than a perfect 45. I was 16, more likely to scribble poetry than wrestle with the Harvard referencing system, and the weight of it all was crushing. Let me paint the picture of the pressure we were under, because it's the only way to understand the horrors that followed. My friends, 8 boys and my roommate, were my lifeline. We were a tight-knit group, hailing from different countries, eating every meal together, sharing classes, studying late into the night. They taught me resilience, kept me grounded when the stress threatened to swallow me whole. We looked out for each other, made sure no one got too close to the edge. Because people did fall over that edge. The school's teachers were merciless, setting impossible deadlines for coursework as if cruelty was the best motivator. Some of us coped, others didn't. 4 months into the first year, a girl from my cluster tried to kill herself. She'd fallen behind on deadlines, faced a meeting with the principal, and was threatened with suspension. She overdosed on sleeping pills, leaving a note by her bed. Her roommate found her just in time, and she survived after having her stomach pumped. That was the first of 4 attempted suicides that year. Each time the school didn't offer support, they punished the students. Detention, caning, banishment from the student hub where we played sports or music. They treated escape attempts like crimes. I remember one November day, sitting outside my room talking to my mom on the phone. I broke down, sobbing, overwhelmed with a hopelessness so deep I can still feel it if I close my eyes. My excitement had turned to dread, my hope to despair. There was no way out but through, and I wasn't sure I'd make it. We were all struggling. Some of us were depressed. But Ru Yi, she seemed untouched. Ru Yi was a Filipino-Chinese scholar who lived on my floor. She wasn't part of my group, and I didn't know her well. She was friendly enough, with a jovial air, but there was something unsettling in her eyes, a wild, intense glint that stood out even among the rest of us, who were all a little unhinged by the pressure. She didn't have close friends, at least none I noticed. What defined her was her competitiveness. The school encouraged rivalry, but Ru Yi took it to another level. We were in the same form class, though we shared no subjects. After the first term, when class rankings were posted, I came in first. She was second. She congratulated me with a firm handshake and a half smirk, that glint in her eyes burning brighter. It felt like a challenge, a silent, "I'm coming for you." Maybe I'm reading too much into it now, knowing what I know. But back then, I had bigger worries than a competitive peer. The suicides, the coursework, the constant fear of failure, it was all consuming. Ru Yi lived on my floor, so I'd see her often, usually near the water dispensers. She'd be in her pajamas, carrying a steaming mug of something, offering that same half smirk as we passed. We'd exchange a quick hi or hello, nothing more. My roommate, who made it her mission to know everyone's business, told me Ru Yi was obsessed with traditional medicine. She started with herbal chicken cooked in an electric pot, then moved to neem concoctions, creams for her face, teas made from crushed leaves, honey, and ginger. She believed these remedies, rooted in old wise tales, would sharpen her mind, boost her memory. She carried her mugs and plates with an air of superiority, as if she'd cracked the code to success. My roommate would mutter curses behind her back, especially the week Ru Yi cooked and ate an entire baby pig, including a bowl of what looked like raw pig brain. It was a cultural thing, I suppose, but it unnerved me. I kept my distance, and looking back, I'm grateful I did. The first year was marked by those suicide attempts, stark and brutal. The second year was different, less obvious, but far more sinister. As seniors, the expectations intensified. Research papers were due monthly, and weekends ceased to exist. I remember a week where I slept maybe 6 hours total, buried in work. Some of my friends didn't sleep at all. The pressure was relentless, and then people started to disappear. It began with Ru Yi's roommate, a girl who lived at the end of our floor. She went home to China during the March holidays and never returned. After a week of absence, rumors spread that she'd cracked under the pressure and convinced her parents to pull her out. We envied her escape. Then a boy, a friend's roommate, vanished. He was brilliant, and we envied him too. By June, during our mid-year exams, a third student disappeared. The atmosphere grew tense, suspicious. My friends warned me to be careful, to avoid going out alone at night or eating anything offered by others on my floor. It sounds paranoid now, but the competition had turned cutthroat, and the school's silence on the disappearances only fueled our fear. The teachers acted as if nothing was wrong, which made it worse. I thought about leaving, but my scholarship was ironclad. Withdrawing meant my parents would owe the full cost of tuition and boarding, money we didn't have. So I stayed, trapped. Then Mr. Sim was fired, and our unease turned to dread. Mr. Sim was our anchor, the only mentor who seemed human. He wasn't officially part of our group, but he felt like the 10th member. He checked on us during exam season, brought us snacks, helped us organize our notes when we were too exhausted to function. When our peers tried to end their lives, he begged us not to follow. His dismissal hit us hard. He left without a word, and when one of my friends called him, he sounded shaken, telling us not to contact him anymore. It felt like a betrayal, like we'd lost one of our own.
By then, 5 girls from my cluster and 3 boys were gone. The only silver lining was that Ruyi stopped brewing her foul-smelling teas, making the common rooms bearable again. We pushed through the final deadlines, research papers, and exams, and then, at last, graduation. I went home. I expected relief, but I felt a hollow emptiness. A week before Christmas, I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. My parents were shocked, claiming they hadn't realized how bad it was. I withdrew, stopped talking, and spent most of my time alone in my room. The IB had drained me, twisted my memories of my friends into something painful. When they texted, I didn't reply. I thought I'd never recover. 2 years passed in a fog. I'm at university now, living alone in a flat near my parents. I work part-time at a bakery and throw myself into my studies, sometimes going days without speaking to anyone. That is, until yesterday. Yesterday, Mr. Sim sent me a friend request on Facebook. I convinced him to talk on Skype, and he told me the truth. He had been a welfare mentor, responsible for checking our floor for hygiene and safety. That
Final year, the mentor assigned to our floor was new and negligent, skipping her rounds. Mr. Sim was sent to check instead. I remember seeing him by the water dispensers, waving as he said he was just checking on us. I didn't think much of it. My sense of normal was so warped by then. But there was a smell, a foul odor near the dispensers that I'd grown used to, blaming it on the damp weather. Mr. Sim noticed it immediately, wincing as he asked if it was always like that. I shrugged it off and went back to my room. He had one last room to check, Ruyi's. He knocked, got no answer, and opened the door, calling out to identify himself. The room was empty, or so he thought. Then the smell hit him, a stench of decay, of death. He fumbled for the light switch, and when it flicked on, he froze. For a full minute, he couldn't process what he saw. 8 bodies, their skulls cracked open, their brains removed, blood everywhere. He vomited 3 times, shaking so badly he could barely stand. I listened to him recount this on Skype, his voice trembling, and I believed him. It was unimaginable, but I believed him. Those 8 students hadn't disappeared. Ruyi had killed them. She'd run out of traditional remedies, and pig's brains weren't enough, so she turned to human ones. Mr. Sim locked the door and went straight to the principal. He was fired on the spot and left without telling us, too shocked to protest. I don't know if the school covered it up, if they knew and let it happen to see if Ruyi could achieve that perfect 45. I don't know how much they paid Mr. Sim to stay silent, or what they paid the parents of those students. The thought makes me sick. I haven't reached out to my friends yet. Mr. Sim said I could tell them, but I'm not sure I can relive this nightmare again. Posting this feels like a way to externalize it, to pretend it's just a story. But it's not. It's real, and it's broken me in ways I'm still discovering. One final thing, because I know you'll wonder. I scored a 44 in the IB. Ruyi got her 45.